Hi, I'm David, teacher and tutor at Ollivander Education. Welcome to my blog on the subject of learning loss during the summer holidays. The answer to this is surprisingly complicated. Common sense would probably say that, yes, of course, if they're not in school, they're not learning, and they're going to forget some things. This is almost certainly true, and teachers would certainly tell you that when they return in September, they appear to have forgotten how to do certain things or knowledge that they did have in July. That said, whether this is short-term loss that can be easily repaired or longer-term learning loss is something that's quite hotly debated in educational circles. The reality is, of course, that this is going to differ from child to child. This could depend on opportunities they have outside of school, their own individual learning styles, and potentially the different ways that schools have taught them to retain and restore knowledge. So the reality is, there is no simple answer, but it's enough of a thing that it's got its own nickname, the summer slide. The strongest argument for continuing some learning during the summer holidays comes from an understanding of how the brain works. For learning to become really ingrained and enter the areas of the brain responsible for long-term storage, repetition is often the key. This can be a challenge in schools, and schools do a fantastic job with curriculums that are designed to ensure this repetition. But the summer provides a really good opportunity to do some of that repetitive work, maybe without the strain of the new learning happening at the same time. However, it is fair to say the truth is that there's no simple answers when it comes to learning. Different children learn in different ways. Most people, including a lot of experienced teachers like myself, will agree that summer learning loss is a real thing, but it does affect all children differently. Only you're going to know how it affects yours. Absolutely. Like any part of the body, the brain needs time for rest and recovery. A common parallel we might draw is with professional athletes who do not train their bodies every day. In fact, over a year they will go through extended periods of extreme intensity and reduced workload to achieve optimum performance. Learning's just the same. For most children, the rest allowed by a school holiday is essential. It's why most educationalists still argue that the 5 or 6 week summer holidays is crucially important. But, like most athletes, a little exercise during that time is important in still being ready for when that next big race comes up. In athletics, they call it maintenance training, and almost all of the studies agree that this is relevant to children, in particular younger ones and those who may come from more economically disadvantaged areas. Most teachers would probably agree that the most effective learning that could be done over a summer holiday, unless you've got a specific goal like an entrance exam for instance, would be to work on maintenance. Like those athletes, to recognise the brain needs to just take the foot off the pedal in terms of new learning. However, consolidating and strengthening existing learning being really beneficial. Maintenance in education largely revolves around something called overlearning, which is the process of repeating learnt skills and knowledge until they become almost automatic. The great news for parents here is that therefore it isn't going to put a huge burden on you to teach new things. All you're really doing is providing them with opportunities to do what they've already learnt in school, but on a more regular basis. As a parent of two myself, I appreciate this is easier said than done. The best advice for brain maintenance during the summer holidays is little and often. Reading with them 10 to 15 minutes a day, maybe writing a short diary entry, or doing some times table games or the 10-minute maths test books on things they've already learnt. You can even take their knowledge organisers, which are very popular in school nowadays, and just talk them through with the children. What can they remember? All of these things will help move that shorter term learning that they've had in school into the long term memory, making them and preparing them for the next level and the new learning to come in September. Tip number 1, morning is always best. If you are in a position to do so, it's great to get up early and get it done. I find bribery can be effective here. Tip number 2, keep the activities simple and at a level that they can already do with some success, maybe with a small challenge at the end. Your goal, in most cases, is to convert some success into consistent success. Number 3, if you can, if you're in that position, try and do it together. Kids love nothing more than showing off their learning to a trusted adult. And number 4, sometimes easier said than done, try to keep it fun. There are loads of games, apps, and other tools out there that can make this learning fun for children. Yes, but of course I am going to say that, aren't I? I am selling tutoring spaces over the summer. There are some advantages to tutoring if you are in a position to find a tutor. First of all, tutors, particularly those who are still heavily involved in the education system, will have a great knowledge of the curriculum. They'll know where the children are coming from. They'll know what they need to do to be ready to move into the next year. And that can be really very important. They'll also know the methods being used currently and what is expected of the children as they move into their new school year. The other thing tutors will be good at is spotting any misconceptions, those core understanding errors, those things deeper than just getting a question wrong because they missed something, those deeper understanding errors which they might be able to tackle during the sessions to move on a large chunk of learning in quite a straightforward way. At Ollivander Education, we're delighted to be offering tutoring services already to a number of people in Guildford and Godalming in one-to-one sessions. We'd be delighted to help your young learner over the summer holidays. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us either through our Facebook page, at our website, or on bookings at ollivandereducation.co.uk. If you're not looking for a tutor, we will be operating our Facebook page throughout the summer with loads of hints, tips, links, and other useful resources to help your young learners.